It seems as though there's as much going on outside the classroom as there is inside the classroom these days at our top universities. You got Facebook, Google, eBay, Hewlett-Packard, and Apple computers. Although they weren't officially on the curriculum, this is certainly where they bubbled up. Plans were hatched and
companies were born out of the brilliant minds of guys like this. Ren Ung.
Form fits function in this camera.
He's blowing minds with the first ever camera called the Lytro that allows users to focus their pictures after they've been taken.
I think the Lytro is the next big transition in photography.
Then there's James McClurkin, a world leader in a little field known as SwarmBot technology. On their own, the gizmos in this colony aren't going to change the world, but they're the perfect building blocks for robots that will.
You don't have to be super complicated to be super effective.
Between Ren's photo revolution and James's robotics evolution, the game will never be the same. This is renowned Stanford University, and this is Ren Ung. Back in the day, he was just another student here, doing his PhD on light field technology. If you didn't know, a light field is the amount of light traveling in every direction through every point in space. It's every single ray going every which way. Now, Ren is turning the world of photography on its head with a camera known as the Lytro.
This is the first time we're going to be allowing to be filmed the Lytro camera, our first product.
This is the
for
consumer
broadcast
model?
TV. This is. Are you ready?
yeah. What? Are you kidding me? What am I looking at? Can I take one out?
You can take one out. This is the Lytro camera.
No, it's not.
So we've really worked on miniaturizing it and then, of course, making it something that's going to be really exciting for consumers.
It's small, it's sleek, it's slick, but I gotta say, it doesn't look much like a camera at all. Never mind a revolutionary one. So what's the deal?
That picture's out of focus.
And you're right, because the real subject is the little boy here.
Yeah.
But with the Lytro camera, you can click on the picture.
And look at the mountains in the background.
Exactly,
Out of focus.
just like it would look if you were looking in the viewfinder, you know, of an old manual camera and you turn that focus ring, right?
This is wild. People don't really have to worry about focusing.
right.
They frame it up, then they just snap it off because they know
right.
they can go in after the fact,
Yeah.
right?
You heard correctly. Pictures taken with the Lytro camera, this simple-looking device, can be focused after they've been taken, and that's just for a start.
Focusing is not just about getting the right focus in the picture, but about getting the right moment. Because with a conventional camera, you have to wait. And with a Lytro camera, we deliver this instant shutter. There's this other really interesting capability, which is that we can actually change the viewpoint in this picture as well. So you get this three-dimensional sensation of what's closer and further in this scene. And all of this information is inherent in this light field that we capture.
Conventional cameras record all of the light rays in their light field view as a single source. The Lytro records each individual ray, including its color and intensity, which is how it can do this.
Look at these droplets of water over here.
Yeah.
Now, as we change the viewpoint, you'll actually see the overhead lights refracting through those droplets of water.
Here's the magic of the Lytro. Besides individualizing every ray of light, it also knows the distance the light has traveled from the subject to the lens. So its software can easily recalibrate and refocus anywhere within that distance.
This is a phenomenon, obviously, but I want to see where you started.
Let me take you back to the very beginning.
I couldn't imagine what an early incarnation of the Lytro would look like. When it was shown to me by Bennett Wilburn, a PhD in computer graphics and a member of the Lytro team, I still couldn't imagine it.
I know that this is early days because this would not fit in my pocket.
It's the Stanford Multiple Camera Array.
96 cameras, if anyone's counting.
This was a tool we built to look into capturing light fields.
So each one of these cameras is operated independently,
Yes. Well,
but simultaneously?
yes. So they're all used together.
Yeah.
And they're controlled by this in the back.
Right.
Which at the time, this was sort of a supercomputer. So the idea is if my eye were here,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to frame a picture looking this way,
Yes.
I have all these light rays that come out.
Right.
And the idea is they come back in and they would hit all of these cameras. And I can collect that from this entire wall of cameras to assemble the viewpoint I would have had in
That's
front of the array.
amazing.
In a photograph of dozens or even hundreds of people, I can focus in on whomever I choose. And it only took more than 10 years of dedicated work to make this happen.
This was a custom system, right? We bought the image chips, put the lenses on, and then tethered them to these computers.
All of this work began originally for pure research purposes. But besides getting his award-winning PhD in computer science, along with a Bachelor of Science degree in math and computational science, Ren has always been an avid rock climber and hobby photographer. And it was this latter interest that inspired him into the commercial potential of light fields.
And the convergence of all these things, I think, said to me, I really had to switch areas and start working on cameras themselves.
One of the biggest innovations we've seen would be from film to digital. Where does the Lytro fit in terms of that kind of a watershed moment?
I think the Lytro is the next big transition in photography.
Well, take me to the next step.
And here we see the same general idea, right?
Still not fitting in my pocket.
Yes, but at the time we did put it on a cart and start wheeling it around, right? So now we have sort of a portable front end, but we still had to plug it into the big rack of computers.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears later, that brainchild eventually led to this prototype mounted on an optical bench. Next stop after that was a camera that actually looked like, well, a camera.
And this took, I think, like 9 months to put together. Has the micro lens array integrated directly with the sensor.
Can I pick it up?
Yeah, for sure.
How many micro lenses, if I can call it that, are on this surface?
I think this one had just shy of 100,000 little lenses on it. So now we've taken that micro lens array that was spread apart on the optical bench and we've mated it directly on top of this sensor.
More years of work, a lot of help, and several generations of technology miniaturization later, and voila, the latest and greatest version of the Lytro.
So, one of the things that we wanted to do with the camera is to really have a very intelligent design, one that's very focused on the consumer. The entire front section here is a really powerful lens.
It's almost, if I'm correct, like you've moved an entire special effects industry into the camera as well.
Yeah, I think that analogy really makes a lot of sense.
Apparently, Ren also wanted to do away with anything resembling control functions. There's almost nothing here.
I want my first picture to be of you, Ren.
All right.
Give me something good. Okay, there you are. Okay,
Take
smile, Ren, like you just invented something that's going to change the world.
Once the photo is taken, you can manipulate right there on a glass touchscreen.
The light field sensor in here is really the crucial difference that separates this kind of camera from a regular camera. And what makes a light field sensor so different is a micro lens array. This is a plastic holder, and you can see this piece of glass held in here.
How many little sensors are in here?
There are hundreds of thousands in here.
The tiny thing in the middle?
Yeah.
How have you created this thing? Can you tell me that?
The specifics are really part of the magic that the company has gone through to develop, which is really top secret.
You don't want my loose lips sinking any ships, do you?
Lytro's scientists and engineers have taken light fields out of the lab and are preparing to stick them in consumers' pockets. Now it's time to hit the beach and see if this thing actually works.
Okay, just like this?
A little bit more graceful.
Okay.
I'm not really a professional model,
It's all right,
you know
it's
that,
all right.
right, Jason?
Keep going.